Good evening and welcome to the Sports Blitz episode number 66. Wow, can't believe it. Unbelievable. It's our end of the year special. We've been talking about this for days and days and weeks and weeks. And I'm Doug. We have Robbie. Robbie, how you doing tonight?
Doing great. Yeah, I just want to send a happy holiday shout out to everybody out there listening and watching, and happy New Year. I know it's not quite New Year; it's about, I think, what we say, 28 hours away. But not that we're counting or anything. But yeah, excited to be here.
We are.
Oh yeah, definitely. The countdown is on. It's been on for like months.
Exactly.
But I just wanted to say, like I said, happy New Year to everybody out there as we finish up 2020 with a brand new Sports Blitz. And if you're living under a rock or under a cave, come on out for the last time in 2020 and give us a listen, and then maybe crawl back under for a little bit in 2021. Then maybe you can come back out more permanently.
Yeah, my suggestion is you go back in the cave and crawl back under the rock. Watch our show and then go back under.
Right.
Not safe out here right now.
Nope.
So to kick off the show, just wanted to mention a couple of names. Okay, I'm just going to mention a couple of names, few names maybe. Tom Brady, Mookie Betts, Gordon Hayward, and today Zdeno Chara. Wait, we have a reaction. Hold on. I said Zdeno Chara. So when I say Zdeno Chara, we have someone that's going to come in and make a reaction. So go ahead, come on in. Let's do that reaction that you had before. Come on. It's right now. Zdeno Chara. That's the reaction. Sums it up.
Sums it up.
The Boston Bruins fan right there. The reaction is not good.
Perfect.
So, your thoughts?
First of all, I want to thank Zdeno Chara for all his years of service to the Boston Bruins. Obviously, he had a great career here as our captain, our big man, our defenseman extraordinaire. Obviously, won a cup, got to two more, played through broken jaws, played through just everything known to mankind, and definitely want to give him a big old salute for that. That being said, obviously, there was a lot of talk about whether or not he was going to come back, and a lot of debate between. So I guess it's not 100% surprising to me that he left. It's disappointing. Don't get me wrong. I share in the frustration, because obviously Chara has been sort of a namestay with the Bruins here, like I said, for the last 15 years or so, however long he's been on the team. I forget exactly. 14 years. Thank you. But that being said, Well, I'm gonna miss him, and while it's disappointing that he's going, especially going to the Capitals, who are a Eastern Conference foe and will be a divisional foe of the Bruins coming up in this 2021 season. I guess to me, like, my expectations for the Bruins heading into the new season don't necessarily change that much with him leaving, because he was kind of getting older and was a bit injury prone and stuff like that. And we do have some. Yes, Chara left us. By the way, if you hear us speak random sentences or words, we do have our lovely live chat going between Doug and I, so we'll just type things randomly into the chat as we're going along here. And
it may or may not make sense.
We may or may not repeat what we type into the chat.
That's correct. There are some things that we don't.
Some things are left unsaid, but for the most part, we do tend to repeat the chat a little bit. So yeah, Doug just typed Chara Love Fest. But yeah, like I said, I think with the young defensemen sort of coming up, obviously Krug is gone, but with the young defensemen they have coming back. I really don't think it impacts expectations for the Bruins as much as maybe if other guys left, so to speak. But still, it's disappointing. I mean, Zdeno, like I said, he's been, sort of the familiar face for the last 14 years, and I think it's gonna be very interesting to see who the next captain of the Bruins is. I already have sort of heard some rumors and sort of some prognostications taking place. One player in particular, but Chara is moving on, and the Bruins, I'm sure, will move on, and definitely going to be different. Not seeing Big Z out there come a month from now in the season when the puck drops on this 2021 season.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think the issue I have is what the story that kind of came out this afternoon about what the whole deal was the fact that Don Sweeney and Cam met with him and said that they don't want him to play hockey anymore. They want him to join the organization. So they want him to put on a shirt and a tie and be a member of the organization, but not on the ice. And then when I found out that he went to, I just heard in the other room too. Excuse me. Yeah, see, I'm getting all choked up because of Chara. When I heard he was going to the Capitals, that was even worse. And then I heard how much, and that was even worse.
Yeah.
Going for about $800,000. Actually a little under $800,000, which is an absolutely crazy contract. When you think of somebody like Kevin Miller, who didn't even play last year and was hurt most of the year before, played 38 games the year before, is getting a $2 million contract. So, and I know he's 31 years old versus Chara's 43, I think. But the fact is that who's been playing and who hasn't? That's my biggest thought process. Underachieving Sweeney. Yeah. So it
seems like it. I hate to say it, but
yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Wanted him to retire a Bruin. He'll always be a Bruin. He's been with the Bruins for a long time.
Oh yeah.
He'll always be a Bruin.
He won a cup here. He made 2 more.
Yes.
I mean, his impact on the city of Boston, the Boston hockey scene is immeasurable.
Right.
Without a doubt.
But I actually asked my wife, I said, hey, I wanted to know whether you knew this or not. Did you know that Michael Jordan played for the Washington Wizards for a year? And she's like,
yes, he did. Yeah, I know.
And if you watch his series that's on Netflix, it's not even in there. It has nothing. It doesn't matter. It's a no matter season.
Right.
So if he goes and obviously he's going to play with the Capitals and he may not win a cup. I don't know how good they are this year, but he's going with them.
They're always up
if
there.
He retires,
up there.
Yeah, but if he retires after next year or this coming year, is it really going to make that much of an impact? Probably not, because nobody's going to remember. They're going to remember he won the cup. That's what they're going to remember. They're going to remember he's a Bruin. He went out with a broken jaw. Everybody was going nuts.
I know.
They're going to remember he won a cup with the Bruins. That's what they're going to remember. They're not going to remember his 1 year with the Capitals. It's just not. I have mixed feelings, and my feelings are twofold. One fold, and you're going to write that. I can tell he's coming. He's coming. There he comes. The first fold is that I think it was a stupid decision, because if you could have gotten him for $800,000, why not keep him another year? He's probably got 1, maybe 2 years left. Definitely 1. He obviously didn't want to retire yet. Why ship him off? Why just lose him that way?
Yeah.
That's the first thing. The second thing I have is a kind of a twist. I don't see it yet, Robbie. Come on,
I'm trying to sort of pick and choose.
Yeah, no, I got you.
I don't want to flood the chat.
No, that's okay. You can flood the chat. Nothing's going to happen. Nobody's going to know.
Twist. There you
go. Thank you. Quit twist. Well, the twist is that they knew they were going to get flack for this.
Doug is doing I love the fact that Doug is doing callbacks for our private chat, or whatever you want to call it, for our private chat that we do on our recording here, folks.
So the twist is they knew they were going to get flack for this. Fans were going to go nuts over this.
Of course.
I mean, Twitter has exploded as far as I'm concerned this afternoon. So, boom. That's right.
That's the sound of Twitter. Yeah.
So, thanks. The sound of Twitter. Excellent. So the twist is that I give them a little tiny bit of credit. And the credit is that they made a decision, stuck to it, and now they're going to move on. They need young guys. They got Carlo. They got Grishlick. I know I said that wrong.
McAvoy.
Got McAvoy. Now, Carlo's
tall. By the way, it's Grishlick for the record.
Whatever. It's a G name. And it's weird. I call him G-Man. There we go. I got a name for him. G-Man. That's right. So they do have some solid players that are coming back. Again, the Bergeron, Krejci, Rask, obviously. So I mean,
Marchand.
Yeah, Marchand.
Or however you
Shand or Sean.
I forget.
We should have him on so he can tell us what name. So what name he goes by.
I know.
So that's the kind of two little things that I was thinking about. This afternoon when the news came out is that they got balls big enough to fit in a dump truck, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to that. Being able to do this, knowing what kind of person this person is. It's like a Brady-esque move, a little bit, a lot of it, kind of melds into each other. And to say this is the path that we're going. If he wants to come into the organization next year, that's great. If he doesn't, that's fine too. But this is the path we're going. So give him a little bit of credit for doing something that they know is not going to be popular, I guess.
Yeah.
So, that, I mean, it makes sense.
I don't have much more to say on that because I agree with you.
So, in the overall, the names that I just mentioned, we are purging good players right now. What is up with this past year, Rob? I mean, even today with Chara, right before the end of the year.
I know.
I mean, it's the names crazy. I just mentioned are superstar
crazy.
Names.
I know, it's crazy.
I mean, Gordon Hayward a little less than the others, but I mean, just those three right there.
And and that's just the tip of the iceberg there. I mean, you look at guys who are more under the radar, like Kyle Van Noy, going to Miami.
Right.
I mean,
few players.
Yeah, this was just a year of departures. I feel like is what it really comes down to. So, yeah, it was definitely tough in that regard. And unfortunately, it kind of has capped off a year. It's kind of evident of a year in Boston sports that was challenging, to say the least. And I'm hoping that maybe 2021 will bring us some more success. But as I'm sure we're going to talk about later on, the landscape of Boston sports is definitely changing, and I'm not quite sure how to feel about it after the last few years.
I think it's interesting, Robbie, and that kind of gets me right into our next little segment is that, the year that we just had, I think all sports, the landscape has changed in all sports.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just, I mean, some of it's the effects of COVID. I mean, we could do the recap of the year. I mean, the first thing that happened in the first of the year is, Kobe Bryant's death.
I know.
What horrible in itself.
And what a kickoff to, I mean, at that time we just thought like, oh my God, like that's, the worst thing ever. And then look at how the year is sort of spiraled downhill from there. I mean, it's just everywhere you turn, it's like both locally and nationally, it's just hit after hit after hit. I mean, what else can you say?
Yeah, it's just been, I think sports has changed, and maybe has changed, in some cases for the better, in some cases for the worse, some cases in the fact that we're doing things differently now, and we may still do things differently to even when COVID calms down, maybe 6 months, 8 months down the road, and we have people in stadiums and ballparks and stuff like that. Maybe things will still be the same. Maybe we will still have to take temperatures, and we still will have to wear masks, but we'll still be able to be next to each other, and it won't be as bad. Who knows? I don't know what that's
just
going to happen, but
not to get too personal here, but how about just the our show? I mean, look at what we sort of had to adapt, and adjust in terms of recording our show. And actually, I think Doug, you would agree, it actually kind of changed things somewhat for the better, just in terms of how much more we were able to sort of expand our reach and sort of our capabilities. I mean, for the first 3 years or however many years we were doing the show, we were just an audio only production, and we would be on SoundCloud, and we would be posting, Facebook and Twitter, and we would, be sitting right next to each other, on a laptop, doing the audio recording and all that good stuff. And I mean, that was fun and all, but to be able to sort of add the video aspect to it, plus the fact that it's enabled us to start to bring on a special guest aspect to it as well, whether it be Mike Riley or Matt Noon or Jamie Rice or Donna Halpern or Dan Ostrovsky or Kyle Souza or just the plethora of guests we've already had, and we've got more coming down the road. Definitely, while it was tough, because I know you and I enjoyed, getting together in person and, sort of those recording sessions that we were doing before.
I liked coming to your house, but you came to my house and you flooded my bathroom, so I didn't really like you coming to my house.
That's true.
Come to yours.
I did. Yes. That
No, I'm throwing it out there. No comment. I'm throwing it out there. It actually really wasn't your fault, technically.
I don't know. I know.
It's not a big deal. But yes, we have morphed. We've also have morphed, and we'll talk about this a little bit later too, about our show and how that has morphed in the last year, and how much more about that, because it really has morphed a lot. And what's going to be coming up in the future for our show too, which is going to be really, really fabulous. But you're right, our show has morphed into something that's totally different. And I don't know
if we necessarily expected it. I think we kind of did it at first. We kind of did it out of necessity, but now it's kind of become sort of second nature to us in a way.
Yes. And what's great is what we're able to actually be on those other mediums, plus on YouTube. Now we're on YouTube. We got our own YouTube channel, and it just morphed into something that was so much better than it was, with new segments and all kinds of stuff. We'll go over some of that stuff later, but I think the 4 sports teams that we have here, the 4 professional sports teams, have definitely morphed in the past year.
Oh yeah.
Just talking about and reviewing, reviewing some of the, let's go back to the tape. No, let's not, please, on some things. And they really have morphed. So, I think we could talk about, COVID really being the most effective kind of thing that happened to our sports teams, and they have learned to adapt to the protocols and to adapt just like we have. But with them, it's totally different, because it's not totally different. It's the same protocols, but it's different because there's a group that you have to watch, and there's different things that you have to look out for. And just, I mean, starting with baseball, I mean, I after the first few COVID kinds of situations, I didn't even think they were going to have baseball.
No.
What did you think about that, Robbie? I mean, I didn't think they were going to have it.
I literally thought they were doomed within the first month of starting games. When that Marlin outbreak happened, like, oh boy, here we go. And yet
Right.
somehow, some way, like they've pushed through. The NFL has pushed through despite some issues there with certain teams having little outbreaks in their circles. Yeah, that's why I say, I mean, it seems like anytime there's sort of an outbreak, like you look at just recently the Houston Rockets, having to postpone their first game because they had some players test positive, and people kind of, sort of hold their breath, like, oh boy, what's going to happen? It's like, and I actually feel more confident now that these leagues can weather these storms and continue to play, which obviously is the most important thing. Because, by the way, speaking of playing, the Celtics dropped by 26 at the half against the Memphis Grizzlies. But yeah, very impressive.
Without some key players tonight too.
Yeah. Apparently Jaylen Brown has 26 points already. So way to go, Jaylen. But yeah, I think
we'll talk about this later, but I'm not sure if I want to trade him for Harden now.
Yeah, no,
I don't think that I want that to happen right now.
Kind of starting to come down on that.
I know. I just didn't. I didn't want to bring it up right now, but I was just like, it just came up, so I just wanted to throw it out there. But yeah, I mean,
just to quickly finish my point, I think just seeing the way that they've been able to adapt and adjust makes you more confident that they can weather these little sort of storms that may happen. Because until really we get more of across the board, vaccination and all that, there's going to be clusters. There's going to be these little outbreaks. I mean, it just, unfortunately, it's something that is happening. It's going to continue to happen for a while longer. So to see the league sort of be able to push through, and I know everybody thought the NFL was doomed, from even before the start of the season. Here they go, full speed ahead into the final week of the season and the playoffs, which is great. But yeah, it definitely has led to a lot of just adjustments and measures that, maybe I think help the leagues out, not just now, but like down the road, if these conditions present themselves somewhere down the road. Now they have sort of a baseline to be able to fall back on if need be.
Absolutely, and I thought the NFL was doomed too, because you had the Pittsburgh issue, and you had a couple other teams, at least at the beginning. I know at the beginning, guys deciding that they're just gonna break protocol and go out or have people in or whatever, and but they've been able to, just like you said, they've been able to adapt and been able to say, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to postpone this game. We're going to postpone it to Monday Night Football. We're going to do 2 Monday night games back to back, different channels, whatever it is. And then, of course, they're still not ready. There's still maybe 1 or 2 guys that are testing positive or whatever it is. And they're like, okay, we'll push it to Tuesday. And then maybe we'll push it to Wednesday. So they really had to adapt.
I think the NFL had a game on like every single day of the week and weekend.
Right. Yes, they did.
Came down to.
They did, because it's Thursday Night Football anyway. So I'm talking Sunday night, Monday night definitely.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
We had a Wednesday
Friday,
night game just recently.
Sunday,
they did whatever they had to do to get through that particular week is what they did, and they did have to adapt. And that's what was totally different this year. I know, at least for the first quarter of this year, maybe into the second quarter of next year, things are still going to be a little iffy, until, just like you said, until everybody kind of gets this vaccine. And again, it's not just going to automatically disappear, but I think things will slowly start to get back to where they were before a little bit. No poof.
It's not going to go poof. It's not going to just disappear.
No. It's not going to just disappear. I was like, but yeah. So I don't think it's going to automatically disappear. But again, all 4 sports teams had their own issues, own problems with the COVID. The NBA just came out today and said they have absolutely no positive tests right now, which is unbelievable considering they're not in a bubble.
Yeah.
Although I heard a report today that the G League might be going to the bubble, which is cool. But unbelievable thinking that they're playing in their own stadiums. I mean, they're playing in their own cities,
right,
and not having one test. Although Devontae Green today, they said that there was a protocol issue with him today. So I don't think it's not necessarily a positive test. He might have been in contact with somebody who has it. So he's not playing tonight. And so that's, I mean, again, it happens, but these are the kinds of things that they've had to do to adapt.
And then there's James Harden, but we won't go too far.
Right, exactly. And that's just, absolutely.
He's a man, goddamn. I mean, what something
absolutely not following protocol at all. Not deciding to follow protocol at all. But there are guys out there like that, and it's unfortunate, but that puts, unfortunately, what it does is it puts their team in jeopardy.
Right.
And that's what happens. And then they delay games and all kinds of stuff. And it's a pain, but they've had to adapt.
And some teams have, and a lot of the teams have adapted really well to it. I mean,
yes. And you know what? We've adapted too.
Yes.
Let's talk about us, not just us as in you and I, but us as a people loving sports.
Yeah.
We're glad that it's back, but we've had to adapt to it too.
We've had to adapt to watching games with no fans in the stands, pumped in crowd noise.
Right. And postponing games.
Yeah.
Maybe not New England, but Pittsburgh had to postpone. There's been other teams that have
look at the Patriots. Look at the Patriots. I mean, two different occasions they had to move games either a week or a few days back because of COVID issues. So no, definitely.
And we didn't really care about it too much because of the fact that we were like, you know what? As long as they play the freaking game, I don't care what I don't care.
And there
if it's
are other
on a Wednesday night at 8.
Well, the other thing is there are other games on to watch sort of in between then as well. So which was
exactly
good.
So we as a people, the people have had to adapt also to the way the sports are run today, the way we've had to adapt to their different schedules and their different things. And, this guy's not playing tonight. Great. Even our quarterback, we won't mention too much right now, but even our quarterback on the Patriots actually getting COVID.
Yeah.
So, it's been what I can say a very, very challenging year, especially for all the sports teams. And in some cases, Robbie, and you can give me your opinion on this too. Frustrating.
Yeah.
A little frustrating for everybody. And you could tell, even in a Bill Belichick conference, even in listening to him on the radio at WEI, a little bit of frustration with all the stuff that's going on too.
Yeah.
A little bit. Why you ask? I mean, he's typically like that anyway. And let me tell you, he's a pain in the ass when it comes to a conference, press conference. He doesn't
especially when you ask him the same question week in and week out,
40,000 times.
Like who's starting a quarterback this week? Like, are you gonna start Stidham over Cam at quarterback? Like, it's like, okay, like you've asked it 4 different times. The answer's still the same. I think we could kind of gauge how he's feeling about this after the, the third or fourth time. Definitely after the 40th time. So
I think what they're actually doing on WEI is trying to. They're playing a little game, and the game is how long can we get Bill Belichick to pause before he answers a question? Because they have him on Mondays,
right?
After Sunday or Monday on Tuesday, they have him either on. They had him on yesterday because they played Monday night. So they had him on yesterday, and they were they're not playing with him. They're asking him real questions, but sometimes he pauses for a really long time before he answers.
Yeah.
So they're trying to figure out who can do the longest pause. So I just think that's a kind of a cute game, but I'm sure Bill doesn't think it's very cute. But that's his obligation. But no, it hasn't just been Bill. It's been coaches and players and even us. We've been frustrated at times trying to figure out what the heck is going on and if this game is going to play and what's going to happen here. And then when you find out that morning, you have five notifications on your phone that says, "Oh, the Patriots are going to, Cam Newton has COVID."
Yeah, I know.
Now what are we going to do? Now we have to play
who? You have to sort of adjust your expectations like on the fly almost.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we might have a chance. Like, well, maybe we can keep it somewhat close. All this. Yeah, it definitely has been a sort of a ongoing game of just of frustration. You're right, is the best word for it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the sports have changed a lot, and we talked a lot about that in this particular segment about how they have changed, how they have had to adapt and be able to adjust. Perfect word that you used before, adjust to the situations that are happening, the situations that are going to happen.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine being a player thinking, okay, I'm playing Sunday. This is Wednesday. I just had one COVID test. I'm going to get another COVID test. And then I'm going to get another one. And then we'll see. And then, oh my God, a guy over here, he got tested positive.
And now we have to travel 12 hours before the game starts.
Right. On the same plane in a closed environment. I mean,
locker room and everything. Yeah. Everything.
It's just a lot to think about and a lot going on.
Yeah.
And again, the sports have definitely adapted and changed. What I want to do is I want to, move on to, kind of the winners and losers, I guess you could say. I guess like sports teams and individuals of this past year. Just to mention a few of them and kind of talk about them at least briefly. Who do you have any sense of who would be a winner or a loser in your thought process after this past year in sports?
Yeah, I mean, for the winners, I think, right off the top of my head is the entire NBA and NHL able to pull off, that bubble in Florida or Canada, respectively, with 0 positive cases throughout the entire of their end of regular season / playoffs. And the fact that, that they were able to, basically everybody was able to sort of come together, players, coaches, officials, everybody alike were able to come together and really make sort of some big time sacrifices, basically being away from their families for 4 months or whatever it was, to be able to finish out the season and, crown champions and all that. I think the NBA and NHL deserve a ton of credit for, what they were able to accomplish, and really, in a sense, what they're still accomplishing, with the ability to sort of keep these test numbers down, positive test out, even as they're sort of entering back into more of a, a home city based schedule for, this 2020-21 season. So I think right off the bat, they are, definitely the 2 biggest winners in terms of my eyes for, 2020 in sports. Obviously on the loser category, this isn't even necessarily a COVID thing. This is just a overall season thing, and that's the New England Patriots. And the Boston Red Sox, who basically both had.
You're taking all my stuff here. Go ahead.
Basically had the 2 worst seasons known to mankind. Patriots missing the playoffs for the first time since 2008. No winning season for the first time since 2000. What was it? 2000? Yeah, 2000. Aren't even going to be finishing. Aren't even going to finish 500 after Monday night's debacle. And the Red Sox basically having a worse season, even a 60-game season, having a worse season than I think even the Bobby Valentine season. So, yeah.
That hurts.
And I'm not wrong, though.
Not wrong.
Not wrong.
But it does hurt.
Yeah, it does hurt. And who knows what the future is going to hold for them. But we can sort of discuss that in future talks as the season gets closer. But yeah, I would say, definitely MLB and NHL on one side, and then locally Red Sox, the Patriots for sort of even non-COVID related reasons on the other side for me.
Yeah, I had those down too. Those are great, Robbie. Those are perfect. I had those too, but I had a couple others that I thought were more on the individual side.
Okay.
And I just thought that it was I don't know.
I'm more of a team guy. I'm more of
I'm a team guy too. I'm a team guy too. I totally get it. And I had those down too. So absolutely Red Sox and and Patriots, and I totally get what you're saying. So
by the way, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't mean to get off topic here, but I'm burning to know, what were your thoughts on the Buffalo Bills billboard that was erected near Gillette Stadium for the last couple of weeks? Just wanted, since we're talking about the Patriots and their disaster, and obviously part of that was being blown out at home by the Bills on Monday night. I just was curious before you get. I want you to get back into what you're about to say, but I was just curious your take about the billboard for the Bills down the street from Gillette Stadium.
First of all, it was pretty ballsy to do. So that was the first thing. The second thing is I was really pissed off. I'm glad I don't live down in that area.
Yeah.
I live north of Boston, but still, I mean,
part of me was like, should I go down and maybe I would spray paint something on it? I don't know.
I just, you know what? And the other part of it is we put ourselves there. It's our own fault for not us, but it's them. It's the Patriots put themselves there. So the fact is that, whether they take a billboard out or not, we were the ones who are not 500. We're the ones who don't make the play, that didn't make the playoffs. We're the ones who, God knows what quarterback is going to happen. I mean, again, these are the kinds of things.
By the way, folks, Jarrett Stidham is not the answer. I'm saying that right now. Jarrett Stidham is not the answer.
I think Hoyer's the answer. Isn't Hoyer the answer?
I think you're the answer, Doug. I think you and I.
I'm gonna go and try out. I really am.
You and I think
I'm gonna be a walk-on.
I think the Boston College or Wellesley High School quarterbacks could be better answers to this than.
Actually, now that I think about it, I think my mother actually could probably play quarterback. Did this past year. So, yeah. So I think that the two that I kind of thought about, winner or loser, when it comes to individuals, because I know you picked some team stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
So the two that I have, the winner kind of in my book for this year, it's kind of interesting. You're gonna go, oh, and if you don't go, oh, that's all right too. My winner in this whole thing, what I thought about is Alex Cora. And the reason I say Alex Cora is a winner is because, not because of what he did, because I think what he did was wrong.
Right.
He's a winner because we're giving him a second chance. And I think that he learned from it, and maybe he didn't, but I think he did. He sounded pretty honest to me.
Yeah,
he sounded
sounded very contrite.
He was. Yeah. He was. He understands what he did. He understands that it was wrong. He understands that he's not going to ever do it again. I think he's a winner because the Red Sox are giving him a second chance. I think everybody in Boston is giving him a second chance because we obviously think that he's the best out of all the others that we can possibly think of.
Well, you don't think that Ron Renneke was the answer to,
Ron Renneke kind of reminded me of, I can't remember the guy. Was it Joe Morgan who used to sleep in the dugout? I think it was Joe Morgan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what Ron Renicky kind of reminded me of. But no, Ron Renicky is not the answer, and neither is this statistic guy, Fold, whatever his name is.
Who, by the way, is now the GM of the Philadelphia Phillies under good old Fred Dave Dombrowski.
Right, exactly. God, I think the loser team this year is going to be the Phillies. I would hate to be on that team right now, but
Bryce Harper, man, Bryce Harper.
Exactly. I mean, but he's 105 years old now, isn't he? By now,
Bryce Harper.
Yeah, isn't he old?
I don't know.
I'm thinking about somebody else.
I thought the fact that he leaves the Nationals and they win the World Series the next year.
Right. I'm thinking about Ron Harper. I'm sorry, from the Bulls.
Oh, yeah.
He's definitely old.
Yeah.
So I think Cora is definitely a winner because this Boston has embraced him. The team has embraced him. And he's coming back with kind of a good feeling and kind of like, okay, I'm ready to do this. I know what I did was wrong. I served my time. I'm ready to move on. Right. And I think he's definitely a winner in this. Definitely. I think the loser, one of the losers that I thought about out of this whole year is Gordon Hayward. And I think Gordon Hayward is a loser because, first of all, he's going to a losing team. That's the first thing. Yes, he's getting a lot of money. I know Michael Jordan has a lot of money. Michael Jordan's team, I get it. He's getting a lot of money. He's getting a ton of money. But the first freaking week shows how fragile
he gets hurt. Yeah,
he gets hurt.
I think he's back though. I think he came back.
He was day to day, so it wasn't a huge injury. What I'm saying is for the money, that guy's got to play like Zdeno Chara. Broke a jaw, lung, open chest, whatever. I mean, Bergeron did the same thing. But he's not a hockey player, so I get it. I think he's a loser.
By the way, Charlotte 1-2 so far in the season.
Oh, yeah.
Terry Rozier, though, did drop 42 points in their opener.
Terry Rozier's a good player.
Yeah.
I was not real happy with losing him, but I understand why we did it, and I guess we have a better backcourt right now, except for Kemba. And
yeah.
But I think what it comes down to is I think Gordon Hayward's just really fragile. And, and I think that he's not the same player. He's a bench player that can come off the bench, get a lot of money for that. I don't think he's going to come off the bench. I think he's going to start for that amount of money. Jordan's going to start him. So, and it makes sense. But I think he's definitely.
But Charlotte roster-wise is much different than the Celtics are. So I mean,
yes, of course.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, he's not going to the Lakers. He's not going to a team. Not going to the Nets. Who these are teams that I think are top 10 teams. They're not a top 10 team.
Oh,
maybe they could beat down the road, but he might be already gone by that time. So who knows? But I definitely think he's, even for the money, he's definitely on the losing side of things. That's just my couple right there. But I just think there were, and I guess the biggest winner that I could think of is non-sports related. The biggest winner that I could think of is all the men and women on the front lines that took care of all of us during this 2020, during this year, this crazy, unpredictable year of
unprecedented.
Just health issue after health issue after health issue. COVID being the main health issue, but still people knowing that they're putting their lives in danger and still going and doing that job. And I just have a tremendous amount of respect. And again, the Sports Blitz sends its gratitude to all the frontline, the firemen, the police, EMTs,
healthcare,
nurses and doctors and healthcare, all the orderlies, the environmental services guys that clean up the floors. I used to work in a hospital for 10 years doing transportation within the hospital. So I know exactly, I knew a lot of these people. These people are hardworking and they would do anything for anybody that walked into the hospital and put their lives on the line for it too. And I've seen it firsthand, including myself. So I definitely, we respect that, and they're definitely, in my estimation, the biggest winners this year. Forget about sports for 5 minutes and think about this for a minute. So it's definitely something that I feel very strongly about. I know you and I have talked about it and feel very strongly about it.
Yeah.
Again, we send our regards to you, we send our respect to you, and we
salute you guys.
Yeah, we do. We do. We definitely do.
Absolutely, 100%.
So now that we're going into our 27th or 26th hour before our new year happens. Love to talk about the future. What's going to happen next, Robbie? Tell me. 2021.
Future.
What are we talking for 2021? We'll talk about the effects of COVID. Obviously, we've talked about it ad nauseum. We've talked about it a lot. We know that the first quarter, maybe even part of second quarter, we know maybe until the fall, we know things are going to kind of be the same a little bit until things start to calm down a little bit, maybe even into the fall. I know the marathon, they're still trying to figure out a date for the fall, but they haven't canceled it, which is good. So it's one of those things where we're kind of moving in that direction, but we're not quite there yet. So we've kind of talked about that, and we will get better as a country, as a team, as whatever. But let's just kind of review some of the sports teams, some of the stuff that's going on now. I guess I know the Patriots are still playing. We can. Robbie's like, I don't want to talk about them. You should have seen that face. Should we talk? Wait. Should we talk about? Let's talk about Celtics. Talk about Celtics. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll talk about the Celtics. You know what we could do, and this is like on the fly here, Robbie.
Yeah,
we could actually talk about the Patriots and the Red Sox. We could talk about down the road. Let's leave that for a future episode.
I'm not. Yeah, I second that motion.
No. Okay, all right, that's all good. It's all good. We're still in that emotional state. So I told him
if we talk about the Patriots any further today, I may actually get up and walk out of this room just out of pure frustration.
Robbie's gonna do a get up. Robbie's gonna do a mic drop. He's gonna do a headphone drop.
Yeah, or I may just go drop an easy touchdown pass and on the best thrown ball that Cam Newton's thrown all year. I may just do that.
Tell me how you really feel, Robbie. Come on.
How long?
No, don't. I was kidding. I was kidding.
No, I know.
So let's talk about the Celtics and the Bruins. Who are going to be playing.
Hey, you know what?
January 13th.
Celtics. I mean, just how impressive they've been. I know, they're only 2-2, and obviously looking on track to be 3-2. But this team's got some guts, despite the fact that they're missing some pieces right now, and still kind of not quite at the top of the pile in terms of the East, or in terms of the whole NBA. But this team's got some guts. And I just really think that looking ahead, this team's gonna be a fun one to watch. Even if they might lose some games, but they're gonna battle tooth and nail every single night, without a doubt. I mean, you look at what they did just last night against Indiana. Down 17. They were down in the third quarter, and they come back, they fight back, and win the ball game. That was very impressive. Jason Tatum's got to stop taking 23-footers, 23-foot fadeaways at the buzzer at one-point games. The story for a different night. Yeah, I will say, I mean, the young, and the one thing I've been very impressed with is the young guys, or the new additions, whether it be the rookies or the guys that they've added, through free agency. Peyton Pritchard. I mean, you talk about being shot out of a cannon to start the year. I mean, that guy has just burst onto the scene and said, hello, hey, how do you do? I mean, he has been so impressive to watch. Robert Williams has started off the season. You're probably looking at the best that he has in his time with the Celtics. I mean, it's
you're kind of hoping for that too.
Yeah, I mean, Tristan Thompson, I know he's not playing tonight, but he's looked impressive. Jeff Teague has looked impressive, and obviously, you look at the mainstay guys, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, all contributing here early on in the season. I mean, obviously, no Kemba for still a little while longer, but like I said, this team, what it comes down to is they got some guts, and they're gonna be exciting to watch. Like I said, they may not win all their ball games. They may be a middle of the pack teams in terms of standing wise, but they're gonna be exciting to watch night in and night out. You mark my words. I mean, they are a gutsy.
Wait, I'm writing it down.
Yeah,
I'm marking your words right now.
They are a gutsy group, and
exciting team, Robbie. Okay, we're good.
And it's just really good to see so far. So that's my take on the Celtics right now.
Absolutely, but I wanted to ask you. I know we're talking about future, and this is kind of a future kind of situation. I wanted to ask you if you're concerned at all about Kemba Walker. I know we've talked about him in the past, and you're concerned about him, and whether
I definitely am.
Could be it could be a situation where this could be kind of more of a chronic issue.
Well, look at last year. I mean, when he came back, even after having 4 months off between March and when they restarted the season in July, whatever it was, he did not look like the same Kemba Walker, night in and night out. It was a struggle for him, and now obviously seeing him having to have yet another procedure, and now coming, not starting off the season playing, and having to come back, a month or two into it. Yeah, it's not a good situation for him, without a doubt. I think that he's a great point guard. Don't get me wrong, he's a great player, and when he's on, he can take over a game without a doubt. The problem is keeping him healthy, and right now the way he's looking is that I don't know if you can rely on him to be consistently healthy and be consistently on where you need him to be to go far. It definitely is a concern without a doubt.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree with that, and I'm extremely concerned about. I know he had a stem cell procedure. Obviously, the stem cell is the next kind of situation. That's been proven to help with all kinds of things that are going on with knees and stuff like that, cartilage and other things. But I know he has had that procedure, but I am concerned about whether he's going to be healthy enough to be out there. And when he's out there, is he going to be Kemba Walker, or is he going to be like we saw in the playoffs, which is not him at all? I mean, you could tell that he wasn't. You could tell that it just wasn't him. So I'm really concerned about that. And going into that concern, there have been reports recently, and I am going to talk about it because I think it's important to talk about. Because
talk about it, Doug. Talk about it.
I'm going to do it. Turns out, what you writing? It turns out that talk about it. Turns out that your Boston Celtics, or my Boston Celtics, have been added to a list of potential landing spots for Mr. James Harden from Houston.
You don't know how many times over the last couple of weeks that I've flip-flopped about this sort of exact.
I've done the same exact thing, but we haven't talked about it yet. So I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on this, Robbie.
My thoughts are is that right now, on this day, December 30th, 2020 at 9:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I would not trade for James Harden. I would not trade for James Harden because I just think right now, looking at some of the things that have happened in Houston and looking at what we would have to give up and looking at what those pieces are doing. I know we talked about before we came on air, looking at those pieces are doing right now for us sort of early on this season. I just think it's too big of a risk. I think it's too big of a risk. I think the attitude, yeah, he's a talented player, don't get me wrong, but looking at his attitude issues,
top 10 player actually.
And I agree.
Some say top 5.
Hey, listen, I completely understand that, but I just think right now the risks for me, given what we're seeing out of the guys that we would have to give up to get him, I just think the risks outweigh the pros in this point. So right now, and again, I flip-flopped on this. I've gone back and forth a ton on this, but right now I would not make that move. Just my honest opinion.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And let me tell you, I've flopped about 100 times on this already. When I heard that he was out there, when I heard he obviously wanted to be traded, there was some stories about him, yelling at other players and being an ass to other people and stuff like that. And knowing that he's a little bit of a ball hog, but he's a tremendous shooter. We're talking 35 to 37 points, per game. I mean, he's a great shooter. Defense, not so much, but the offense is definitely there. And definitely a top 5 player at least.
Yeah.
The issue I have is that, just like you said, what are we going to give up? Got to give up Jaylen Brown for that and picks and God knows how much. You can give him Shemi Ojale. I don't have a problem with that. Give him Shemi Ojale, give him
Carson Edwards,
Carson Edwards and
heck,
Waters.
We'll throw Taco Fall in there. What the heck?
We'll throw Taco. Well, I'm not sure if I can do Taco because I like my Taco Tuesdays. Anyway, I think the most important thing is the fact that I have flip-flopped. I've gone to we want Taco. Yes, actually spelled the right way. Good job. I think it's just one of those things. The reason I'm flip-flopping is I'm going, okay, well, you really need to have a superstar because if you think about the teams that have won, think about the teams that have won in the last 10 years. All of them had at least 2 superstars on their team, if not at least one. Plus, some other guys that are not superstars, but they're good, solid players. So, if you think about it, it's not the big 3 anymore. It's like the big 2. So if you had somebody like Tatum and Harden in the backcourt, I'm thinking to myself, he takes over for Jaylen Brown and he's older, but he's a good player and he's still a top 5 player and he may be able to get us to, but he's not going to get us. We're not going to be able to beat the Nets because he doesn't have defense. How are you going to defend Irving? Who's going to defend him?
Durant.
Yeah, maybe.
Or Durant, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, and then I flop back to saying, I don't want to give up Jaylen Brown and Tatum. They're playing amazing right now. They are scoring points. They are playing defense. Marcus Smart's helping out. Just like you said, everybody is kind of melding and molding themselves, and they're playing well. Robert Williams is playing like out of his hair right now. Unbelievable. I'm really glad that I don't know where I got that from. I'm kind of glad because I was waiting for him to kind of step up a little bit, and he's finally done that. And I want to see it being. I want it to be a little bit more consistent, not just at the beginning of the year, not just a little 5 games mid-year, but I want this to be a consistent thing,
right?
Because that's important because he's a great defender. So that's really important, especially if we can give Tristan a little time. On the bench, not that he's old, but kind of switch him in and out. Tristan's played very well. I'm hoping that old man, right? I'm hoping that he can. I'm hoping that he can, get healthy and stay healthy. That's a little concerning to me, but not too much because people, guys get injuries and it happens. And as long as it's minor, if he misses a couple games, it's not a big deal. 1 or 2 games, game to game, whatever. But again, they're playing really super well now. And to bring somebody with Harden's attitude into this locker room, then I say to myself, no, I don't want that. And then I say to myself, wait a minute, he's a top 5 player. So I'm like going back and forth, just like
I know.
But right now, just like you said, right this very second, 9:09. At least that's what I got on mine. 9:09 on this day. I'm not interested. Now, what Danny does, I don't know. Trader Danny can be pretty good. If he can trade for him without
mortgaging the farm,
without Marcus Smart, Tatum. Well, Tatum's not going anywhere.
No.
Without Marcus Smart or
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown. Hello. Without Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown. That's pretty much it. I mean, right there. I mean, Tatum's not going anywhere, so I don't. He's got a big contract, so he's not going anywhere. Right. We're kind of molding around him. But if he could trade him for Waters, Carson Edwards, and a bag of balls, I would even get the balls. I don't have a problem with that. I'd do that in a heartbeat, as long as you didn't give away the core. But you're going to have to with the Harden deal. You're going to have to. So, my thoughts is that I really don't want to go there right now.
Yeah, I agree.
To predict what Danny's going to do has to be a really, really sweet deal for Danny. To be able to do it. To bring that kind of guy in here. Sometimes you have to leave those guys. We had Kyrie Irving, right? One of the best point guards in the league. We had him here too. He was a bust here. He was a bust because he was an attitude. He's walking around the court with sage, burning sage. What the hell was that?
I know that was weird.
Supposed to get rid of the evil spirits. It's interesting. It didn't drive him out of the building. So I.
Hey, but you know what? He actually came into the building. You notice how now that there's no fans, he actually is okay coming into the building.
Yes, he is
against the Celtics. So
yes, exactly. I just sometimes you just got to get rid of
coward. Excuse me.
You just got to get rid of these guys, and you got to find other guys that are willing to play hard enough to be able to get the win.
Right.
That's all it is, and get to where they're supposed to go, which is the playoffs.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Moving on to the Bruins just slightly. Again, we talked about Chara ad nauseum. Really upset about that. I'm sure that people will be upset about that for days. Twitter is blowing up.
Boom.
It's. I think that he's got some people. I always thought that he does have some young guys, McAvoy especially, that's stepping up. I know McAvoy played with him a lot on his line. So, but I still think that we still have some pretty solid players.
I just don't think him leaving changes the expectations, whatever they may be.
No, I think you're right about that. No,
yeah.
I think you're absolutely right about that. I think you're right. I think that doesn't change the expectation. It won't change the expectation that I have for him.
No.
That's for sure. But it's just a matter of figuring out how they're gonna. They want to go. Want to go young, which makes sense. Younger. I still think he's probably got a year or two in him, and probably was active enough to be able to do it. But if you watch the games last year, he was slow.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that's what I'm saying. He's gotten older. He's been injury prone, more injury prone.
Once you have the puck in your end and you got Chara standing there, I mean, you want Chara to be standing there, but maybe Carlo can take over. Carlo's about the same size and height as Chara is, and I always thought Carlo was going to be the guy that took over. If he could stay healthy, and play really well and keep moving forward, I think that would be that might be someone who we count on. Not to be Chara, because he's not going to be Chara. He can play up to the expectation that he's going to get better and do well. And I know he learned from Chara a lot. So hopefully we can do that. He's got the same height, same weight, same height. I mean, the guy's ginormous. But if he can still do that, he played really well last year. I don't know if I'm sure you saw some of the games, but he played really super well last year.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the expectation, I think you're right. The expectation will be the same, but
I think the Bruins sort of going to sort of an overall Bruins. I think they're still a contending team. I don't think that expectation has changed. Where they're sort of what order they're sort of what level they're sort of at in terms of contention, that remains to be seen. Obviously, I think I had a very high expectations for them last year coming off the cup loss. It started off so promising, they were the top of the Eastern Conference, and then obviously, circumstances changed, and they won a playoff series, but then of course ran into Tampa Bay there in the second round. But I think there's still a team that can at least make the playoffs and win at least a series, maybe two series. After that, again, it depends on momentum and who they're going up against.
The Big Mo, baby.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a big question for me. What exactly this team's ceiling is going to be this upcoming season with what they've lost, and what unfortunately at this moment is sort of what little they have gained in terms of talent coming in, so to speak. So but they do have a lot of talent returning, obviously, and we talk about the young guys, as well as the Bergerons, the Marchands, and all of them. But I think this team is definitely still going to be a contender. I just don't know if it's more of a top 2 or 3 contender, or more sort of middle of the road contender in terms of the East. Obviously, with new divisions this year, things are going to be a bit different in terms of who you have to contend with and what you're contending for, and and all of that. So but I definitely think they'll definitely be in the conversation. That's for sure. I feel comfortable predicting that. How deep they'll go, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, and speaking of predictions, that's a perfect segue into our next segment there, Robbie, is what are your, thank you very much. What are your, and it could be anything, what are your predictions for the coming year? It could be sports related, it could be non-sports related. What are some of your predictions for this coming year?
Well, first off, I just want to give a quick update. At the end of 3 quarters, it is Celtics 96, Memphis 71, and Jaylen Brown has 44 points. So my first prediction is the Celtics are about to go to 3-2 on the season by beating
Memphis. That was pretty good at this point, right? Go ahead.
No, honestly, my first prediction, I'll sort of segue into by using the Celtics as my first prediction. I think the Celtics are going to be a top 4 seed in the East. I said that before the season started. I still believe that. I think with what they have right now, talent-wise, I think that they, and just what they're showing, even without Kemba, I think that they can definitely be and will be a top 4 seed come the NBA playoffs. I think for the Patriots, this is the one that you might want to mark down if you're
already marked down the other one too.
If you're marking, I do not think that come the start of the 2021 season that Cam Newton will be the starting quarterback for the Patriots. I don't necessarily think there's going to be Jarrett Stidham either. I think that there may be someone on the more free agent market that the Patriots go out and get, but I think they need to make a change. And I do not think personally that Stidham is the answer. But I don't think it's Cam either. And I think that Bill really, he wants to win. He has that fire and desire to win. And so I think that we'll go out and go after some of these more veteran quarterbacks that are on the market. And I also think hopefully that he will go out and try to bulk up at the wide receiver position as well. But my overall prediction for the Patriots looking ahead is I do not believe that Cam will be the starting quarterback in 2021. So you can definitely mark that down. My prediction, sort of a third prediction I have is I think the Red Sox, and part of this may be that there are 162 games this season as opposed to just 60. I think they'll win more games than they did in 2020, which is not hard to do. Yeah, I think with the Cora factor and some of the things that they have coming back, I think that they will win more games. Whether or not they're going to make the playoffs or not, I can't go and make that prediction right now because I just don't know what way it's going to go. The pitching staff especially is just
good mid-season prediction.
Yeah, or even to very beginning of the season prediction, something along those lines. But yeah, I think the Red Sox will definitely win more games than they did in 2020, which again is not going to be that hard to do. And in terms of, I'll make a Bruins prediction as well. I believe that the next captain of the Bruins will be Patrice Bergeron. I believe that, I mean, he is a leader already on this team. I've sort of heard people prognosticating about it already. And I think he, could be and is sort of the most likely and the most reasonable choice at this point. So
isn't he an A? Isn't he an A already?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Why I feel comfortable sort of saying I think he will be elevated to that captain position now that Chara has departed. So I think those are kind of my four big predictions for the four major Boston sports teams for this year. So Doug, what about you? What are your thoughts as we head into the new year of sports and Boston sports and all that good stuff?
Well, crazy enough, I think you and I have the same brain waves or something. Most of this is what I had written down that I was going to predict.
Mind melding. Our minds are melding.
Definitely mind melding. I'm not sure what it is, but it's definitely something. I think that we'll start with the Celtics because that's how you started. And I'll go through the whole.
Listen, you can go whatever team you want. You don't have to piggyback off of my order.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm just doing it because it just happens to be the order that I put it in too. So, I do think I'm kind of piggybacking off of your idea a little bit, but I'm going to add to it.
Okay.
So I do think that the Celtics will be a top 4 seed team. I believe that in the East. I think they're going to have a little bit of a difficult time, of course, with the Nets, but I think they're going to. But my prediction is that Danny will do something and possibly something significant to really improve the team at the deadline. He's going to do it this year. And the reason I say is because I think he's got a great core. I just don't think he's got enough yet to be able to maybe even win that second series playoff.
Right.
I just don't think it's there yet. And again, we have pretty high expectations because of what they have done.
We made the East Finals last year.
Exactly. So we have, if they don't go to the East Finals, it's going to be a disappointing year as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So, but my second half of that prediction is that Danny's going to do something, and it's going to be fairly significant without ruining too much of the core.
Right.
So he's just got to get a little creative. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I totally predict that Cam Newton will not be the quarterback of the Patriots' future, and even the bridge quarterback. I think there are some significant free agents that are going to be out there. Not necessarily significant players, but I mean, anybody would be better than Cam Newton right now. So that's just my prediction is that Cam will not. Hoyer may be a backup, but I doubt it. Stidham may be a backup, though. Don't know that yet. Don't know. There's a possibility that he may be a backup. But we're talking about something like maybe Stafford. Stafford would be one of my choices. Jameis Winston would probably be my second choice on that. Either one of those two, I'd be very happy with.
Who would have thought? Just a couple of years ago, that you would put Jameis Winston over Cam Newton in terms of priority.
Well, you wouldn't have done it.
You
wouldn't have done it 2 or 3 years ago because Cam Newton was actually good.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago, so it makes sense. I mean,
that says something about the year that the Pats have had, that you would prefer Jameis Winston.
Over him, yeah. Actually, I think I'd rather have Julian Edelman over him.
Might as well.
And he was a quarterback in college.
Yeah.
So
he's thrown more touchdown passes, I think, in his career than Cam Newton has this season.
That's correct. That is very correct on that. That's truly, mind-boggling if you think about it.
It's crazy.
But yeah, Cam Newton would definitely. I think Stafford or Winston would be two that I would definitely choose.
Jacoby Brissett. I don't know.
Maybe in that order. Yeah, Jacoby Brissett's on that top 5, top 3, top 4 list. But definitely that would be great as a bridge. The other part that I'm going to slash and then put another part is that Bill is going to pick the quarterback here in the draft. He's going to find one that he likes and he's going to pick one. Stidham is not going to be the future at all.
No.
But
it's not Brian Hoyer either.
Not Brian. Well, Brian Hoyer is more of a backup anyway. Permanent backup.
Third straight
backup
at this point.
But yeah, that's my prediction is that Bill will find what I would call Bill Belichick 6th round, pick 199, diamond in the rough that everybody misses. Just a prediction. Not saying it's going to happen, but that's my prediction.
Okay.
I definitely predict that the Red Sox will win at least 1 or 2 more games this year. I actually predict that the Red Sox are going to make a complete turnaround this year. And I'm going to go further with not just saying they're going to win more than last year. I'm going to go that they're going to make a complete turnaround and really win a lot of games this coming year. I think they have a lot to play for. I think that Chaim Bloom is really setting things up. It's difficult now because of COVID and trying to get players in, and they missed out on a few players, few pitchers, but they've also gotten a few. So it's one of those things.
By the way, the Red Sox won 24 games in 2020.
Yeah, they'll definitely win more than 20.
Maybe we'll put the over-under, I don't know, what do you say, 30, 35?
At least. Yeah, definitely around that, I would think. Yeah, definitely. So with the Bruins, I think they're going to be. I think that fans are going to be pleasantly surprised this year. I think they're going to miss Chara, but I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised because we do have some veterans plus a pretty young core. DeBrusque being one of the players that I think is going to really shine this year. He played really well last year with a few hiccups here and there, but he's really played well. Now he's got another year to get even better. So I just think that we're gonna be pleasantly surprised, and I do absolutely think that, and deserved that Patrice Bergeron will be the captain this coming year. Absolutely, and I just think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with them. That's really my predictions for all the sports teams.
I agree with all those.
Yours plus my added.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with your additions as well.
Yeah, so Robbie, listen, we were going to go to a segment that we had with a little bit of a game, but I've kind of decided to kind of switch it around a little bit.
Ooh, okay.
And yeah, we're going to play the game later at a later show because just because I thought about it, and what I want to do is I really want to talk about a little bit about the future of the sport.
Yes.
What we've done in the last year, we've already kind of talked about a little bit, but I really want to talk about the future of what we're going to do, of what we're going to have, about segments of things that we're actually going to do. So what I did was I kind of wrote a little bit of a list of things that we actually have done on the sports list in the last year. And then what I'd like to do is talk about what's the future for us? What's 2021 going to look like for the sports? It's going to be kind of cool, really cool. So what we've done in the last year is we've done movie trivia. We've done video game trivia. That was really fun. That was with Kyle. That was awesome. Yeah. We have our chat words. So we have our words that we do in our chat. Words. There we go. There it is right there in living color, people. We've done some non-sports talk too. We've done that too. Live, not Memorex. That's correct. We've done some non-sports talk. Well, we were doing for a couple weeks. We did What Was Cam Thinking? And those were kind of cool. And what I'd like to do is that's kind of was a new segment for us. What I'd like to do is we're going to figure out something a little different for next year.
Maybe expound to some other figures in the Boston sports landscape.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. We've definitely
talked about that. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yes, we have a segment at the end of the show that's actually coming up in a little bit called Final Thoughts, where we have a final thought for the evening. And we've also had other thoughts of what players are thinking too. It's kind of a interesting thought process of what we thought players were thinking. Why did they do that? What were they thinking about? Why was Kyrie Irving walking around with burning sage in an empty garden? What was he thinking? Who knows? Can I light this place on fire? I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. Who knows?
Is the earth flat? I mean, who knows? Yeah, it's a good question.
Exactly. And we've also had guests. And that's been a tremendous thing for us to
and by the way, I was sort of shouting at some of our guests earlier, I know, in the episode, and I sort of came to the realization that I missed a couple of big ones. Shout out Colin.
Well, wait, hold on. That's what I wanted to do was I wanted to actually send out a Sports Bliss thank you to all our guests. So what I wanted to do is I'm just going to say thank you so much to all our guests. You're welcome anytime on our show. We'd like to have you back on the show. And Robbie's just going to give you a list of all the guests that we've had on the last year.
Yeah, so we have had I wonder if I can go in order. Let me we've had Jamie Rice. No, sorry, we've had Kyle. Kyle was our first ever guest that we had, I remember. We've had Jamie Rice. We've had let's see, George. I don't think I could do it in order.
No, that's okay. Just you can go through the list.
Kyle, Jamie Rice, George, Colin, Matt Noon, Donna Halpern, Mike Riley, Dan Ostrowski, our most recent one. I think I got everybody that we've had on so far. But yeah, it has been such a great time, like you said, Doug, having these guests on to talk about sports, to talk about Rivers Camp, to talk about so many other things. And we have a ton of other guests lined up coming down the road here. I know Doug and I were talking off air about one particular guest who we're sort of working on for the beginning of 2021 potentially. So very much looking forward to that. A lot of other things guest wise, maybe even some sort of guests coming back on that we've had before, sort of checking in with them. But yeah, it's been a very exciting sort of thing that we've been able to do with this show, has been able to bring guests on and talk to them and sort of get some voices other than just us talking to each other, to ourselves here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, we're definitely going to do some more Rivers episodes too, because those have seemed to be the most some of the
we have so much enjoyment over those. So that's been great.
Yeah, well, we're definitely going to do a lot more of those, and we're going to have some guests on from Rivers Day Camp. We're going to do more episodes on that, we have a lot.
We also have
creative stuff that we're thinking about.
We also have some stuff on the production end of things that we're sort of tinkering with and sort of toying around with. So keep an eye out for that. Definitely some different production related items that may be coming down the track here. So a lot of things that we're definitely looking forward to trying, and definitely keep an eye out for that as we enter the new year.
Yeah, definitely. And you have access to us too. So access meaning we're on all the social media pretty much. And if you have a thought about a guest, you have a thought about a show theme that you want to do that's sports related, or maybe even not sports related, we'll do that too. We don't care. Something like that, we love. We love to have people, chime in and give us some ideas of what they would like to see also. Yeah. We definitely look forward to this next year as being very creative, moving on, moving into some just this amazing kind of sports show, pretty much for everybody. So we're really looking forward to it, and we've come to our final thoughts for the evening, Robbie, on our episode number 66, our end of the year special. What are your final thoughts for this evening and for this episode?
Yeah, so my final thoughts are sort of going off of something that we talked about at the very beginning of the episode. I brought up the billboard, to put it nicely, over at Gillette Stadium. And what I wanted to talk about based off that was something that came out today, is that the Buffalo Bills, who are going to be able to host a playoff game this year for the first time, I think it was 1994 was the last time the Buffalo Bills hosted a postseason contest. And the announcement came out today from the New York governor's office and the Bills ownership that fans are going to be allowed at the Bills' first playoff home game coming up here in just a couple weeks. It's going to be very limited, about 6,000 fans, I think they said, are going to be allowed, and mainly season ticket holders, sort of the really diehard Bills Mafia.
Don't try to sneak in. It ain't going to happen.
No, definitely isn't, especially if you ain't been tested.
That's right. Make sure if you sneak in, you got your test right in front of you.
No, because they are going to require negative tests for fans to be able to enter, which makes a ton of sense. But I just want to say, hey, listen, I'm not a Bills fan. I the farthest thing from it. But I did want to say that I think, it is really cool that they are going to be able to find a way to allow fans in the stands for, sort of a historic moment for Bills and the Bills and Bills Mafia. Like I said, first home playoff game since 1994. Definitely a big achievement for them, winning the AFC East this year for the first time since then. So I just wanted to, give as much as I hate to say it, give a little shout out there to Bills Mafia, who will be able to be back in the stands come wild card weekend. And hey, listen, I know the Pats aren't going to be in the playoffs, and I wish the Bills well. In their postseason run, will be very interesting to see how far they're able to go. Definitely have been one sort of the big stories this year in terms of the NFL, what they've been able to accomplish, and Josh Allen's been able to accomplish. So just wanted to give a little shout out to them, and also just wanted to wish everybody out there a safe and happy New Year. I know this year's been pretty wild and crazy, and for all of us, and it continues to be. But I just wanted to say I hope everybody has a safe and happy New Year, wherever, whenever, whatever you might be doing, to celebrate as we enter 2021, and hoping for better things to come, and just stay positive, stay optimistic, stay safe, wear a mask, and like I said, we can't wait to see you all with more exciting Sports Blitz episodes in 2021. So Doug, I will now turn the floor over to you. What is your final thought of really the year 2020?
Well, first of all, I'm not sad that it's leaving.
No, not at all.
That's my first thought. The second thought is I hope we charge them double for the billboard. That's whoever owns it. I hope it was Kraft, and Kraft owns some of the billboards around there, and they charge the Bills double for that. That's the second thought. My third thought is that I want to I guess, say that there was a little bit of a sad moment this past week where we had Casey Jones of the Celtics. Sure. He was 88 years old, pass away, I guess, from Alzheimer's disease is what I think I saw online when I read some articles about it. I need to tell you a little bit. I never met Casey Jones. I never met him, but I saw him coach. I never saw him play. I'm not. But I saw him coach. He obviously coached.
Doug saw Bill Russell play back in his heyday. So
I did not, Robbie. Please, I'm not that old. What are you talking about? So what it comes down to is again, I never saw him actually play, only in video. But he coached the Larry Bird teams all throughout the beginning of the 80s to mid 80s, and just a tremendous coach, player, father, person, just a great person. And of course, the Sports Blitz sends our condolences out to the Jones family.
Absolutely.
And
rest in peace.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a tremendous. If you ever get a chance to watch the, I believe it's 1985. 1985. Watch the. There's a video that's out. I don't think it's on DVD. I think you could probably get it somewhere. It could be on DVD too. It's just the year that they won the championship, and Casey Jones is like all over that video. It's awesome to hear how he talks about coaching and how well versed he was in basketball, and just how people talk about him now as being just not just a great coach, but a great friend and a great person. And that's what we want. We want obviously people to talk well about other people. And he was just from what I've heard, I never met him, I heard just a really great guy. So again, our condolences go out.
Rest in peace
to him. Yeah, absolutely. Very excited about the Sports Blitz coming up in 2021. We got some great stuff coming down the pipe, so to speak, that we're very excited about.
The best pipe, to be exact.
Yes, definitely. So just wanted to wish everybody a healthy and semi-happy, at least try to be, happy and healthy new year. And, again, just like Robbie said, be positive, look forward. It looks like things are going to start to get better. Unfortunately, the old saying, they get worse before they get better. So definitely have a safe and happy new year. And we will absolutely see you in the new year with lots of new things, lots of new guests, maybe some old guests too. New guests, old guests, new segments, some old segments that people like.
And more chats.
And much more chat. And, well, that's pretty much it for our end of the year special, episode number 66 of the Sports Blitz. I'm Doug. That's Robbie over there. Robbie, thank you so much. Happy New Year. And we'll see you in 2021.
See you, everybody.